Edge of Fate has been out for about a week now, and I'm a person on the internet with thoughts and a microphone, so talk a lot. This is part one of a four-part mega review, and today we're talking about the campaign experience. I will talk about other parts of the expansion in later videos. This is just the campaign. I'm not talking about anything else. In terms of the gameplay review, I will disclose that I played entirely on Legend. I have not played a single second of the campaign on normal difficulty. Having said that, Legend experience was pretty fun in terms of the combat difficulty, even though the builds were somewhat nerfed thanks to the stat rework, although it definitely seems like Titans got hit the hardest in that. Having said that, I also liked that the world tiers made the Legendary experience feel legendary the whole time. They are fun and good, at least from a gameplay perspective. The reward perspective, maybe not so much, but we'll talk about that later. In terms of how the new world abilities feel to play with, it's just the same thing a bunch of different times, and I don't feel like they do enough to make them very different. I understand you can't exactly put raid or hell, even dungeon level mechanics in the campaign since, everyone's expected to complete it, but I would have preferred something a little more than just, okay, go in the hole with Matter Spark and charge the pylon 7 times. The other two were even less creative than Matter Spark. The teleporter cannon is literally just shoot the thing to activate it, and Matter Morph, which I just call egg, because it looks like an egg, is just hit the green thing with egg to make it move. More minor sin of the egg is that if you have it, you can throw it as a mini shackle grenade, but you're locked out of your melee ability for as long as it's active. Meaning if you have a melee build, like I do, you don't get to use that build. So this is a very minor concern and will probably not affect like 90% of you out there. Matter Spark, I will admit, is kind of cool. Everything else is just meh. The only kind of cool part, past the first few uses, is Matter Spark. And to be honest, it's mostly on the fact that you can use it at any time with no limits after the campaign. I think the visuals are really cool, but unfortunately that doesn't solve the gameplay problem. There is also the problem where on mouse and keyboard, if you move your camera at all when entering Matter Spark, it just spins you around endlessly. Although, they may or may not have fixed that by the time this video comes out. I won't fault Bungie too much for this, since that's a bug and not intended, and I'm pretty sure they have a plan to fix it pretty soon here. These do get upgraded over time as the campaign progresses, but those upgrades only ever happen right as you might need them. There's never a moment in time where you see a teleporter array and think, I wonder what that's for, only to come back much later with the upgraded cannon and be able to use it to unlock something. If they had kept these elements in and maybe, kept you guessing as to what they were, I think it would have been really cool. Lore, however, very good. And I think the story and writing team should give themselves a massive pat on the back because this was a certified banger of a story. The lead-up itself was kind of This might be because the marketing was piss poor, but it also might be for other reasons. The idea that we've seen, like, some kind of invitation from the Nine, or at least what we believe to be the Nine, seems like a fine opening. I just wish that we had received a little more forbearance on this and less just telling us, because if you didn't pick it up in the cutscene, you were kind of just lost. I thought the Strangelet capsules were a very cool overarching thing. After we received this invitation, the only human resident of this strange world that we have found ourselves in gives us these sort of weird transmissions, though everything's wrong with them. Timestamps are all off, maydays are being sent before distress calls, and that concern is never addressed again. Literally ever. At least not directly. Lamau, while we contend with the House of Exile that have seemed to set up shop here on Kepler, remember the Nine sort of just takes control and gives us a message via our own in-game feed, which I thought was very meta and funny as to how these beings sort of are something else above our level of existence. We eventually tangle with something called the Archon, and after killing it, and then killing it again, and then again, find a strange hourglass that is known as the Strangelet capsule, which is basically just a thing full of dark matter that you can integrate into the altar at base camp, which, once you collect all of them, allows you to enter the singularity to finally face the Archon. I think the Strangelets were a good way to keep players focused on a singular goal of just getting all 4 of them, even as we might be bouncing around doing many different things. From there, you just start slowly unraveling the loose threads of the sweater that has been opened up. Orin becomes Orin again, Drifter finally makes his relationship with Eris official, and Lodi slowly begins to open up about who he is and why he's here. From there, we move to slowly unravel the House of Exile's plan, which is to enter the Singularity and ascend. Whatever that means. I also thought Lodi got some great characterization in the story missions, preferring to get his enemies to surrender via words instead of guns, and I like that nobody played him out or put him down for it. Threads of the story sweater continue to get pulled as we continue these story missions. We learn who Lodi really is, who Ikora was, and how the Nine have had their fingerprints on everything this whole time. From Lodi answering his call to Ikora originally dying when the Nine hit her with a fucking train. Holy shit. Eventually, we do integrate all of the strange capsules into the altar and actually get the damn thing turned on, but there's something else the Nine need to take care of, which is that they need to convene to make some decisions. Namely, the transfer of the emissary title to Lodi, and should the Guardian be the weapon of the Nine? Slight problem, 3 has gone radio silent, just completely gone. Lodi would become the new emissary? Ambassador, I guess? I don't know. What even is he at this point? But the Nine were split as to whether or not we, the Guardian, should be their weapon. No time for deliberation, though. The Archon is ascending, and we need to stop him. We enter the heart of Kepler, slowly fight our way towards the Archon, and if you needed a spoiler warning, this was the time for a spoiler warning. You haven't played the campaign, and you care about spoilers, go play the campaign. And finally, we get the reveal as we pressed a cliff edge to find 3's corpse drifting in space, being harvested by the House of Exile. We would later learn that 3 is the one that initially sent the invitation to bring us here, and that 3 would ultimately die for it. We battle our way to the Archon, kill him as Drifter has his I was made for this moment as he just yeets the derelict into 3's corpse to revive them, which works until Maya Sundaresh shows up and kills 3 for real this time, because she just has to go and ruin everything. But before 3 dies, they speak to us directly through Lodi, giving us a cryptic warning prophecy, sort of, be a foretelling of a chain of events so cataclysmic as to cause an extinction event across the solar system. The only way for us to stop it is to find the Nine. With that, we're off. Welcome to the Edge of Fate, baby. Woo! In terms of my review of the story, I'm giving it a solid 9 out of 10. I can't in good faith give it anything higher than that, but I also can't in good faith give it anything lower than that. More on that later. I think that this feeling of pulling on loose threads was a very, very well done concept, with Lodi slowly peeling away information as he slowly realizes that he is, in fact, in deep shit. The Nine slowly opening up to us was great, finally unveiling the mystery of these higher beings, with things going from 0 to 100 as we learn that 3 has died and that we now must find the Nine, whatever that may mean, which is likely a process that will take place over the course of the Fate Saga. I do have one problem with the story, and that is Maya Sundaresh, who felt very, very shoehorned in. Why is she here? Did she also get an invitation from the Nine? Did the Nine have some influence on Maya being here? Was 3's death something that was supposed to happen? We likely won't know for a while. I guess setting up Maya as the overarching villain of the Fate Saga is fine enough, I guess. I just wish that there was a little more context as to why she was here. Having said that, if that's my biggest criticism of the story, okay, job well done. Now that I'm done raving about the story, let's get to the part you're all here for, which is the complaints. The campaign, so damn long. I think it took me about 12 hours on Legendary, I want to say. I think the others took me about 8 at most, and while that doesn't sound like that much of a difference, you have to remember that in order to unlock everything, you gotta do this 3 times so you can have it on all 3 of your characters. So multiply all of that by 3, and that number adds up very fast. The destination abilities didn't feel like they were particularly inventive, especially Mattermorph. I just did not feel like that got upgraded at all. I was kind of just throwing eggs at stuff, and that was about it. Matter Spark felt pretty cool, but I imagine most of that is on the visuals, and the fact that I called it Sploon the whole time, which I guess made it funnier. I really wish that these had been more innovated over the course of the campaign, because the upgrades kind of just felt at best. It also felt like a lot of in-betweens that were just go kill this guy and grab his thing type beat, sandwiching the actual story missions. And I wouldn't have minded it once or twice, but it felt like it happened almost every damn mission, sometimes multiple times in a row. Like, at this point, what do you just fold this part into the story mission so I have to hold the 4 key one last time? I know this is a very minor complaint, but after several hours, it definitely boiled my britches. Finally, in terms of the destination, it felt very samey, even if it was, all things considered, quite large. Overall, it felt like the different locations on the destination were hard to distinguish from each other, to just know which part of the map is which. Like, I could tell you that I'm in a cave. Couldn't tell you which cave, though. I'd have to pull open the map for that one. The different areas of the map feel only minorly distinct from each other in a way that I don't think any other destination really suffers from. At least not anything I can name off rip. I feel like if you showed me a screenshot of the EDZ, I could probably give you an approximate location without too much effort on a map, and I just really can't do that with Kepler. Now, what part of this is unfamiliarity with the destination, and what part is problematic with the destination itself? I don't know yet, but I'm guessing it's a little more of column 2 than column 1. Now that I'm done complaining, let's talk about what I liked about it. Despite the destination being very samey, it was also very, very pretty. And that problem that I mentioned earlier would have been a lot more of a problem if the destination sucked to look at. I thought the environment was cool and novel. It used a lot of cool new assets in novel ways. The Skybox team did a just amazing job, as they always do. The new enemies felt really fun to fight. The Corsairs, these new flying vandal things, were absolutely horrifying to encounter for the first time. I didn't think them flying was going to be that big of a deal, and it was. They were a legitimate threat, and they were really fun to fight, if I'm being honest. The imp swarms were just completely out of left field. I had no idea what was happening the first time I saw one. The first time I got dive bombed by one of these, I think I might have screamed. They have a central imp core that holds the health bar of the thing, but the secondary imps just become predator missiles as soon as that health bar dies. You can either shoot down the secondary imps while it's alive, or shoot them down Axion dart style as they try to kill you. Only problem being that if you miss, you're gonna have a bad time. The Legend experience felt like a Legend experience the whole time. For literally every other Legendary campaign, the gameplay part of the Legendary experience ends as soon as you get mission complete. You're just done. This was not the case. Legendary experience was just infused straight into the world via the world tier system, which would put enemies at a fixed difficulty above you. I'm someone who enjoys challenge in this game, and I really like this. It meant I wasn't just ace rolling everything with no regard for any kind of enemy. Finally, and my biggest praise, is the story. The story was really, really good. The marketing team dropped the ball hard here. This was the perfect opener for the new saga that we're about to go through. We got to slowly unravel these pieces of the story and get accustomed to this new people, this new place, and who Lodi actually is. Right as we're getting into the groove of things, shit just goes nuclear. And with 3 going radio silent, Lodi becoming the new emissary, and the Archon about to ascend. As we approach the heart of the Singularity, we just find this eldritch horror that is 3's corpse as we go to fight the Archon. We fight the Archon, revive 3, who gives us a cryptic message, and then we're just off. Awesome, awesome job. So, big question. Was it any good? I would say yes. It was very good. So keep in mind, this is just the campaign experience, and I played on Legendary. I thought the campaign was a very fun experience, even if I have some of my gripes with it. I liked it a lot. I think the gameplay needed a little bit of work. Story team, good job. I do think the campaign experience is very important, if not one of the most important things in an expansion, since it's the primary story, and you're going to end up here for most of the opener of the expansion. Okay. Little bit of a longer yap. Finally over. Next week, we're going to be talking about the portal and the power grind in what will hopefully be a shorter yap. No guarantees, though. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.
Video games like Destiny are awesome because I get to live out my power fantasy of being able to afford eggs.